All right. Good to be with you on a Sunday. Once again, 11:37 on the clock, and our winter storm continues. Pretty miserable day across the Tennessee Valley. Obviously, we've got a lot of widespread heavy rain. And new from the National Weather Service, there is a flood warning now in effect until 5:30. And this is for Indian Creek in Madison County. It has reached its flood stage. So we figured that we'd see some form of flooding with the rainfall totals that we were forecasting with this event. And yeah, so far the rainfall forecast certainly on track for 1 to 3 inches by the time this precipitation comes to an end. Now, the good news is it will stop raining or freezing rain or sleet, whatever you're seeing where you live right now. It will stop eventually, but then we deal with the cold air coming in overnight into tomorrow morning, and that's where we have the concern of patchy black ice too. So again, just another update for you. There's a lot of moving pieces to this forecast. Just want to give you as much information as we can. We're going to go right to the radar here, start off with that. And this is widespread rain. You see the pink on the radar tool. Now, some of that potentially could be some freezing rain or some sleet. We're going to go through all the temperatures here in a second, and we're going to go through this hour by hour, talk about the cold, everything we have to not look forward to. Waking up tomorrow morning, including the threat for hazardous travel with the patchy black ice and everything. But we do have that flood warning that just came out for Indian Creek in Madison County as it has hit its flood stage. So here's the radar right now, and you just look at what we've got going on. The thunder and lightning has actually diminished. We actually saw more thunder and lightning earlier this morning versus what we're seeing right now. And I think part of this is just our temperatures are starting to fall a bit already. So there's even a narrow window later on this afternoon before the rainfall officially ends that we see maybe a brief round of freezing rain too. But widespread rain, it's just a nasty day out there for sure. The rainfall rates and amounts have been very heavy at times. We've got ponding on the roadways, standing water. It's not fun to drive in. Poor visibility too. But just looking at the radar right now, you do see some of that pink. But based on our temperatures and everything, I don't think we're actually seeing sleet at this time, but there certainly is the possibility for some freezing rain with this. So if we go over to our road temperature tool, show you what the road temps are. Now, most of these locations are now starting to flirt with that freezing mark as that colder air starts to push in. You're still okay as of right now, maybe not so much those higher elevations or those sheltered roads of northeast Alabama and Sand Mountain, as your road temps are still in the mid to upper 30s. But the concern now is that it's still actively raining, and our surface temperatures on the roads, the sidewalks, the parking lots and everything, unfortunately power lines as well as the tree branches and tree limbs that might already have some ice on them, especially in parts of northwest Alabama where you've seen the most ice so far with this storm. And now the winds are picking up too. We've seen some gusts, I think 40 miles per hour today. So it's just miserable, but all those elements add to the possibility of additional power outages coming. A lot of people in my earlier streams with meteorologist Jeff Denoyer and just the one I did earlier myself, asking about school closures or business closures. Full list is on our website, WAFF.com. It's right there on the home page. You can't miss it. Just click on the tab, look for your school or your business, and see if it's on there. So road temperatures have fallen and will continue to fall as we go through the rest of the evening, overnight, into tomorrow morning. And that's where the concern of hazardous travel and black ice starts to come in. We go to our rainfall totals here over the past 24 hours, and we said about 1 to 3, and this is a lot of rain. This is a lot of water on the roads and everything. Very concerning here. Looking at these rainfall amounts, about 1 inch to 1.5 inches, even now playing a little bit of catch up over parts of northeast Alabama where you're a little later to see the rainfall, just plain old rain here this morning. But now Albertville is even just shy of 1 inch of rain, just about 6/10 there in Fort Payne. But everyone else 1 inch to 1.5 inches, and that's a lot of water, not just on the roads, but now you're going to start to get that runoff effect too. Creek streams and rivers will likely see some rises in them as well. Those ditches and everything, those are starting to fill up too. So this is a concerning part of the forecast when it comes to, tracking road potential and the possibility of black ice developing. 2.2 inches and 800ths since last night off Moores Mill Road. Yeah. Thank you for that report, Caitlin. Yeah, these rainfall amounts, obviously that's going off the sensor. Some of it is just kind of grid data here. If we go to some of the ice reports we've gotten, and a lot of these coming from emergency management. Now, some of these were kind of guesstimated, if you will, to add a real scientific term to it, just based on the damage. Some of these came from trees down on roadways and everything, but these are some of the local ice reports that we've gotten in from the National Weather Service, relayed by emergency management and everything. So 10 miles east-northeast of Waterloo, you've got an inch of ice, and that is crippling. That is incredibly heavy. I think half an inch of ice on something like a power line or something weighs roughly 500 pounds. That's a lot of weight on those power lines, and that's why some of you have unfortunately lost power too. 10 miles west of Underwood, an inch of ice. 8 miles north-northeast of Cherokee picked up an inch of ice accretion. 2 miles south-southwest of Florence, about a third of an inch of ice. Elkmont picked up 1,500ths. And 1 mile west of Madison, about 1,300ths here. And this is why we have, the power outage potential still, even though, we think we're past the worst of it. That's not necessarily the case. There could be some lingering issues with this, and I'm sure all the linemen and women are working their hardest to restore power that those that lost it, but there's only so much they can do with that amount of ice potentially being built up on those power lines, as well as those tree limbs that can come down, or even trees themselves can come down if they are that weighed down. So I just wanted to share a few reports with you of what we've picked up as far as the ice. Now, we never really saw that sleet accumulating, with the exception being northwest Alabama. And northwest Alabama was the area we were definitely most concerned with this storm. And, there was a lot of complexity to the forecast. And the ice storm warning was the biggest concern, where we figured we would see the most ice building up there. The ice storm warning continues through 6 o'clock on tonight, Sunday evening, obviously, as you could still see maybe some additional freezing rain. So additional ice possible on roads and those surfaces, as well as the tree limbs and power lines. Everyone else in that light blue color, kind of that North Carolina blue color, is a cold weather advisory, and we have very high confidence in the blast of Arctic air coming in overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. That's where the possibility of patchy black ice is going to develop. There is going to be a brief window where we could potentially see some drying of the roads due to the dry air with low dew points. That helps with the evaporation process of the rain that could be in the water that's on the roads. If there are icy spots, that would be what we call sublimation, where that frozen precip, or ice for that matter, skips the liquid phase. It doesn't melt, but it does sublimate, which goes from the frozen state right to the gaseous state of water vapor too. So we're hoping we see a lot of that here this evening, because that would kind of minimize some of the widespread concerns for icy roads tomorrow. But that's not a guarantee by any means. If you have to head out and travel either today or definitely tomorrow morning, there is the possibility of running into some icy roads. And black ice is very difficult to see on those area roadways, especially when it's dark before the sun comes up. And you know how late the sun comes up this time of year in the winter, in late January. It's going to be nearly impossible to see that black ice. Before you see it, you're going to hit that icy spot, potentially end up in the median or in a ditch, worst case scenario. And I do anticipate some standing water even after the precip ends, just because of the amount of rainfall that we've seen today. But cold weather advisory, the wind chill as we go through the rest of the day today, it's going to be brutal. This is the forecast wind chill for about noon, so 13 minutes from now. It feels like 20s out there, but watch how fast this starts to fall off. By 4 o'clock now, in Middle Tennessee, wind chill in the single digits and low teens, falling into the teens just about everywhere else. Now, the wind chill doesn't play a role in ice developing. This is more just a comfort perspective for you, a person. The air temperature is the bigger critical role in the ice forming, the patchy black ice forming overnight. But check out this cold we have tomorrow morning. This is the reason for that cold weather advisory across the area. The wind chill tomorrow morning will be anywhere from 5 above to 5 below zero. And this is dangerous cold. I would go through your cold weather preps this evening. I'm going to drip my faucets tonight, open up some of those cabinet doors, maybe your kitchen sink or something. You don't want to be dealing with frozen pipes too, especially you folks that might not have power or heat right now. It's pivotal that you do those cold weather preps, just to drip those faucets, a steady drip. You know, every couple of seconds you get a drip of water coming out. That would be the best thing to do on a night like this when it is going to be this cold by Monday morning. Then as we go into Monday, the noon hour, things don't actually improve a lot. And it's because we'll have that persistent northwesterly breeze with us, that northwest wind gusting 20 to 30 miles per hour overnight tonight and through the day tomorrow. Even Tuesday looks pretty gusty too. But our wind chill by noon tomorrow is in the single digits. Maybe if you're lucky, you hit the teens, but that's not a fun day to be out in outside at all, period. And then by 4 o'clock, we're still dealing with low single digits for that wind chill. And then right back to it Tuesday morning, wind chill is anywhere from 5 above to 5 below zero. So this is an extended stretch of very frigid temperatures and feels like temperatures coming. Things start to improve a bit by Tuesday. I say this is an improvement. Take that for what it is. But the wind chill will be in the teens and 20s Tuesday. Our actual high on Tuesday, we're forecasting 38. So that should pretty much eliminate any of the lingering icy spots, which is obviously great news for everyone that's doing some traveling. So if we go to your hour-by-hour forecast here, looking at the rest of the morning now into the afternoon. So this is noon. And we're potentially seeing the end of precipitation. And you folks in Northwest Alabama, you need a break for sure. You guys have seen the worst of this storm for sure as far as the ice buildup, the hazardous travel and everything. So precipitation coming to an end, maybe as early as the noon hour. This is 1:30 now, still dealing with some lingering rain over northeast Alabama. Given your temperatures still in the 40s, I don't think you'll see another bout of freezing rain. But can't be ruled out, especially in the higher elevations. So we just continue to go. Now, everything is gone by about 2, 3 o'clock at the latest. That's the end of the precipitation. Now we get the Arctic air surging in behind the cold front itself. The wind becomes northwesterly, and this Arctic air surges in, and these temperatures are going to fall like a rock as we go through the day into the evening, overnight, into tomorrow. So this is 3 o'clock now. And we've got our temperatures here in the upper 20s to low 30s most places. That cold air will eventually catch up to locations in northeast Alabama. Here's 6 o'clock, and now we've got an air temperature in the 20s everywhere, and just about everyone is at or below freezing. And anything that doesn't have an opportunity to dry out because of the dry air we have in place and the breezy winds, well, this is where the patchy black ice is going to start to develop and develop quickly, and road conditions can deteriorate very fast here this evening. This is 9 o'clock now, and we've got air temperature in the teens and 20s. The road temperature is going to be awfully close to the air temperature, especially after the surge of air coming in over a stretch of hours. And then look where we find ourselves on Monday morning, 6 a.m. Air temperature in the teens and 20s, but that wind chill 5 above to 5 below. So that's where kind of that miserable morning comes in, along with the travel concerns. Tomorrow, the clouds start to filter out by late morning into the afternoon. At least we get to see some sunshine, but the air temperature stays in the teens and 20s with the wind chill remaining in the single digits. So really not a pretty situation unfolding as we go through the next couple of hours. At least the rainfall and potentially freezing rain, that will come to an end here. So just the amount of rain that we've seen and the falling temperatures, that's the biggest concern with the travel conditions going south really quickly here this evening, overnight, into tomorrow. Can't stress that enough. So Charlie Terry asking, what time will the road temp drop to freezing? Well, I could pull up our current road temps. And here they are right now. Now, again, some of this is model data. I think some of this is actual sensors on the roads. But you can see that a lot of locations already are seeing that road temperature kind of, hovering around freezing. And this is just specific areas where I would say more locations, those outlying roads or whatever, could potentially be colder than this too. And that's where the icy concern is going to come in quickly here as we go through the afternoon. If you're not at or below freezing right now, I would anticipate our road temperatures to definitely be at or below freezing around 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon. That's, as of right now, that is my best guess for you. We'll check our rain totals yet again. This is a lot of rain. This is a lot of water. That's a lot of runoff. I'm sure if you have some kind of a drainage ditch in your front yard or in your neighborhood or something, you're seeing some significant rises in that too. Jessica, no, I'm not saying all of this is going to ice. I think we see a little bit of drying of the roads before we kind of hit that critical point of the evening, just because we've got the breezy northwest winds, a little bit of traffic volume on these wet roads too, somehow usually helps with the drying process. I don't think we're talking a widespread sheet of ice for tomorrow morning, but definitely concerns of icy spots. And a lot of people have just been asking about, what about me and my drive to work? I would just say if you have to go, allow extra time, use caution. Black ice is clear ice on the roads. That's why they call it black ice, because the roads are, covered in asphalt and are usually black or gray in color. But it's nearly impossible to see. And it sneaks up on you fast, and before you know it, you lose control of your vehicle too. So our rainfall totals with this have been impressive. These are the ice reports that we've gotten so far. Several locations in northwest Alabama picked up an inch or more of ice, and that's why we're seeing the widespread power outages and the worst travel concerns there. 1 inch, Waterloo, Underwood, Cherokee, third of an inch in Florence, into the Quad Cities, the metro areas there, Elkmont, 1500ths, and Madison, 1300ths. So, this is a long duration event too, and I think that adds just to the complexity of it too. All the moving pieces. We had temperatures that were almost at 50 degrees at a point of the morning today when we were hearing the thunder over parts of northwest Alabama. And now we've got the temperature starting to fall, and they will continue to fall, and that's where the concern is, coming in with the difficult travel. Just your forecast summary, heavy rain, even possible thunder continues until about 2, 3 o'clock for you in northeast Alabama. The rainfall or precipitation will end a little bit earlier over northwest Alabama. Could be as early as about noon to 12:30 or so. The blast of Arctic air is coming in. Concerns for black ice overnight, early Monday. If I would just try and be where you have to be at some point early this afternoon. Personally, I'm staying in a hotel this evening just so I didn't have to drive in to work at 2 in the morning like I typically do, worrying about black ice. So I've got a hotel this evening. Several of my coworkers also have a hotel tonight. So we're trying to take those, precautions just to keep everyone safe. And that's the most important thing with this too. We're going to have plenty of updates on the roads and travel conditions. As far as it goes, Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis will be in this evening for the 5 and 10 o'clock news. I'm sure we'll have reporters working on stories potentially of how people are trying to treat the roads as far as the infrastructure goes. I'm not sure if that brine solution that a lot of counties and cities put down on the roads, I'm not sure if that is able to be applied if the roads are still soaking wet from all the rainfall too. So there's a lot of questions with this too. What are some precautions to take with dealing with the ice tonight? Again, I would say be where you have to be before the roads get too bad. And then just with the cold tonight, I would do your cold weather precautions, drip those faucets, and make sure your outside pets are inside in a warm place because this is dangerous cold. Do you think the roads will be bad? Kimber, there's so many variables here. I would definitely assume some icy spots will exist tonight into tomorrow morning. That is the best answer. I don't have a crystal ball that just says, roads are good or roads are bad. There's so many more details that go into it. I appreciate you being a business manager trying to protect your employees. That is amazing. But I just don't have a straight answer. I would assume the worst, that, yeah, we're going to have slick conditions. That's why a lot of school districts canceled school tomorrow. Again, full list of closures for businesses, schools, etc. On our website, WAFF.com. It is right there on the homepage. You cannot miss it. So that's my not so straight answer, but I would assume that certain roads across the area are going to be icy tomorrow, whether it's a sheet of ice or, you know, just kind of patchy black ice. Again, no ice is good ice. If we haven't learned one thing from this whole little winter storm saga we've been going through. Go back to our road temperatures here. Wanted to show you the radar, but look at those road temps now really starting to fall fast over northwest Alabama too. And this is going to be the trend here as we go through this. I'm going to go over to the radar here. So, you know, just looking off to the west, it does look like we've got the end of the precip here. So it's still just over the state line in parts of northeast Mississippi, out toward Iuka, for example. But that is the end of the precip. And then after that, things, you know, things will improve as far as it's not actively raining on you, and you'll have a little window. Mark brings up a good point. Do you think the gusty winds could possibly help dry out the roads and improve conditions? We're going to have a window here with the gusty winds and just the dry air, with the dew point being so low. You're going to get evaporation. The wind is going to help the drying process, but it's not a guarantee. It's a good thing it is windy. It's a good thing the air is dry. Those are two elements that might improve things. But I think with the amount of rainfall that we've seen, it's not going to be instantaneous before those temperatures are at or below freezing, not just at the surfaces, but also the air temperature too. But that is a good point. These winds are going to, you know, stay with us all the way through the day Tuesday. These winds gusting up to 20, 30 miles per hour as well. But I can show you your wind forecast here. This is what we've got, you know, gusting 15 to 25 miles per hour all the way through the evening and the overnight. So that is going to, you know, that will help. It's not going to hurt us that it's windy, and it's not going to hurt us that the air is incredibly dry, because then you get the sublimation of the ice or the evaporation of the water on the roads too. But this is just something that it's an evolving situation, and we continue to, you know, just keep an eye on things basically. But I've shared the road temps with you guys. Already seeing those road temps falling quickly over northwest Alabama. At least your precipitation will end fairly soon in northwest Alabama, the place that has seen the most ice with this too. But yeah, just these road temps are concerning. But now, yeah, there it is. That's the correct one. I was like, what? My map looks different. I was clicking on the wrong scene. But you know, with these road temps now right around freezing or just below, there is additional ice possible on the roads. So, you know, rainfall totals have been very high with this. Not sure since why that changed over there, but still actively seeing some potential mixed precipitation over Franklin, Colbert, Lauderdale County. With those road temps hovering around freezing too. Could see additional ice and, you know, dangerous travel. Now some of that pink starting to show up over portions of Sand Mountain toward Jackson and DeKalb counties too. Have to check our temperatures here really quick. Show you the actual air temp. We've got 40s there. Now, it could be picking up on some of that potential mixed precipitation if there's some colder air aloft, not necessarily at the surface in Scottsboro or Fort Payne, as they're in the lower 40s. Air temperature 35 in the Shoals, air temp 35 in Moulton, 37. You know, so we are above freezing right now, and then hopefully, you know, we just see those temperatures falling a little bit slower than what the models are depicting, because that would do us a favor. Mike, appreciate it. Raining hard in Elkmont. When will the ice melt and roads be back to normal? I would say substantial improvement for any icy roads would be felt across the area probably by Monday afternoon, and definitely by Tuesday afternoon. I don't think we have to worry about any more icy roads, but those roads that are sheltered or shaded and don't see a lot of the wind or the direct sunlight, you know, those icy spots could linger for a bit. You just have to kind of know the roads around you. Roads that are typically icy, guess what, are probably going to be icy as we go overnight into tomorrow morning. Full list of closures on our website, WAFF.com. One more look at the hour-by-hour forecast, and we'll talk wind chill really quick, and then I will send you on your way. So this is going to be noon now, so just past it. Model is a little bit behind. As we're still actively seeing precipitation, just to show you the current radar. Actively seeing precipitation in northwest Alabama, but we go back to the hour by hour now, and so this is noon. Things will come to an end from west to east. The rain will end, and then we just see these temperatures starting to drop pretty quickly here. Maybe even hanging on to those 40s a little later in northeast Alabama after the rain and the precip ends, some of that mixed precip. There's a chance we see some snow flurries tonight even. Just flurries, not talking accumulation or anything. So this is 9 o'clock. Temperatures have fallen into the teens and 20s. The wind chill will be much colder than that. And then here's tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., and we've got teens. Sunshine by tomorrow. Again, this is where we start to expect some improvement on the roads because the sun will be out, plus we'll have the wind, the dry air in place. But if we talk wind chill here, here's going to be 4 o'clock this afternoon. What it feels like, it's going to feel like teens and 20s, maybe even single digits by 4. And then you skip forward to tomorrow morning, and this is the reason for the cold weather advisory. 5 below to 5 above is going to be that wind chill tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And then look at it staying in the single digits to low teens as we go around noon tomorrow. So brutal cold stays with us even through the day on Tuesday too. These roads potentially could become slick pretty quickly here, Cameron. I would expect by the time the sun sets, that's when we really start to see that ice potential on area roadways. I guess I will try and be optimistic and show you your 10-day forecast. Usually there's some good news on here somewhere, but every single day through the week, at least we don't have precipitation to worry about. Actual high temperatures will be in the upper 30s. Every single morning is very cold, where we start off in the teens and 20s. So this extended cold stretch stays with us. This will probably be the roughest stretch we see for the entire winter. At least I hope that's the case. Finally, by the end of next weekend into the following week, looks like we're back in the 40s, which isn't too big of a warm-up either. But that's basically everything. Precip will end, bitter cold tonight, and then we worry about the hazardous travel. Again, we'll have plenty more updates coming from your 48 First Alert Weather Team. I appreciate everyone that's been streaming along with us. Your reports have been incredibly helpful, letting us know what you're seeing, where you live, and we can relay that to the other viewers and people watching the stream. It's been awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Just try and be where you have to be before the sun sets tonight. I think that's when we start to see those roads really starting to deteriorate. Patchy black ice tonight, overnight into tomorrow morning. It could be bad in spots. Hazardous travel certainly expected. People still without power. I know crews are actively working to restore power. If you don't have heat, do your best to stay warm. Cold safety protocols tonight in your home. Trip those faucets, those pipes and everything. Just make sure you're doing your best to keep your home safe and you safe as well. So forecaster Jada Russell is going to be in a little later this afternoon, along with Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis. They've got the newscast at 5 and 10. They'll have road updates, road conditions, what people are doing to treat the roads and keep you guys safe. So stay with us for continuing coverage of this winter storm. First Alert Weather Day today and also tomorrow for dangerous cold and hazardous travel. Have a great day. Thank you for your time and all your reports. See ya.